Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As I have already mentioned in community post what to be read from today's Indian Express, let's have some detailed analysis of news. At the same time, I would like to mention one thing that you will observe that from yesterday and also in upcoming 4 to 5 days, there will be lot of news on economic perspective on the section or on the page of economy, though it's the Hindu or Indian Express. But don't pressure yourself by like I have to read this and I have to read that. There is no need to go in depth of why market has fallen down or what happened after rupees has slid down its value. See, it's of important, but it's not the only important thing. And see, in economical perspective, I'm saying, from economical perspective, I'm saying that everyone has their perspective and they will opinionated in this kind of newspaper. There will be theme based article, there will be opinionated articles also, but they are of not utmost important so that you can take pressure like ये भी पढ़ना है वो भी पढ़ना है. Now how will I cover economy because I don't even know the terms. See, the only terms which are of our use are which are inculcated in our books only, like standard reference book only. There is no need to go in professional terms of market. At the same time, there is no need to go in depth of news like why market has fallen down. See, it's better to have fair idea about it. Like US Fed has made some decision about policy cut rate, and that's why market has fallen down. Rupee has slid down. That's okay, but there is no need to go in much depth as it's not helpful for our syllabus right now. So just have a look on that kind of news, but don't pressure yourself that there are humongous things that are happening in the market and there is too much material based on economy and paper is huge. Newspaper is providing too much information and now I have to read from page to page and word to word, even, and I don't even getting what's happening. So there is no need to take pressure. It's of no use even you take pressure. So don't go in that side like I have to cover every economy news. No, there is nothing like that. So have that in mind whenever you read, because what happen is whenever we roam around people who have interest in economics, they will read it. It's their choice, but it's like we unnecessary pressure ourselves that we also have to deal with it. And as we know, economy is kind of critical subject with lot of terms, but only we need basic terms. We don't have to go in the depth. We are not going to make any policy or something like that. So just have rough idea and basic idea about what's happening. That will be enough for us. So the first news is popular drugs for weight loss endorsed by WHO scientists. It's on page number 1, comes under GS3. So the news has stated that GLP-1RA, that is receptor agonist, which mimics a hormone that regulates appetite, blood sugar level, and obesity. And scientists have stated that even though we have nutrition taking, have regular exercise, it has somehow failed to curb obesity pandemic. That's the term they have used, obesity pandemic. So that's the only important thing and keyword from the news. There is nothing much in the news, and you don't have to go in typical science that now I don't know the receptor and how I will cover the news from the basic. There is nothing from much from these kind. See, these news are for just to have fair idea about how to inculcate these kind of news when it comes to societal issues or essays or theme based essays where we can use this kind of health sector, sorry, health sector thing. So it's for that only. So that was enough for this news. So the second news is India France signed pact for Grand Museum in North and South Block. So with yes, it's not like 100% France is uh, building the architecture or the museum. It's India and France will collaborate, will do collaboration and will build the museum. So the most important factor about this museum is it will surpass Louvre Museum made also, which is the largest museum in the world, which has also made by France, and it will be the largest museum in the world that we are gonna build with collaboration with France. So then it's an recent in recent hours they have announced its name also. It's Yuga Yogin Bharat National Museum. It's not in today's newspaper. I'm lately recording the video, so I got to know about the name also. It will be followed by tomorrow's newspaper that they will announce the name in newspaper. So it's okay. Then it is the next and important thing is it is a part of CVRP, that is Central Vista Redevelopment Project. So yeah, it will be largest museum in the world following 1.55 lakh square meter area. So yeah, that was the news, and it comes under GS1 and GS3 as well. How? Because GS1 deals with heritage, culture, and history. At the same time, GS3 deals with international relations. So both are involved. So it deals with both. Then the new on editorial page there are editorials like Hawkish Approach, Bridge to Moscow. So have a fair idea and look about Hawkish Approach and Bridge to Moscow. What is Hawkish Approach? The article is based on how Trump will design the facility and how he will announce the tariffs that on projects that are upcoming. And at the same time, what is hawkish? A policy stance that favors aggressive action, that is hawkish approach. So the article is about that. So you will have a fair idea about how it will affect India's financial status also. So have a look upon that. Then taxing coconut oil, why Supreme Court said it is for eating, not for hair care. So it's not a new debate, ये पहले भी हो चुका है. After finally 15 years, the Supreme Court has came to a final conclusion that it's a edible oil and it's not a hair care oil. Why this issue was in news, even though it was a fiery debate because of GST. When GST was not there up to 2017, when GST regime applied in 2017, they put coconut oil under category of cosmetics and beauty, which contains higher GST rate, that is 18%, instead of putting it in edible oil which have 5 to 7% of GST rate. So the debate again caught fire, and it was under CET Act of 1985. So finally they have said that it is a edible oil and it should be placed in the category of edible oil with lower taxation rate. And yeah, application of common parlance test was rejected, because earlier judgment which was made by Supreme Court was based on common parlance test. They said that just because it is following under common parlance test, we should not put it in edible oils category, and we should not it should be levy with higher charges. But now they have decided, and the final verdict has came down, that common parlance test has been rejected. That and why they have rejected that test, you should know the reason as well. Because see, whenever they say, even though newspaper doesn't explain, you should do Google on yourself, like why the test has been rejected. The test has been rejected because uh, the test only gets conducted when the product is not clearly defined, or it has not specifically mentioned where it deals with. So that's why the test has been denied, even though it was in first they have stated that the test has applied to it, and they put again 70% or 80% of GST on the coconut oil consumption. But now they have rejected and denied the common parlance test. The test is employed when a product can be reasonably classified under two different categories, and two different categories of taxing categories. So that's the only criteria for common parlance test, and which does not fit into when it comes to case of edible oil or hair care oil of coconut oil. It does coconut oil doesn't fit into CPT. So that's why they have rejected the test, and it has finally stated that it's just a edible oil, and no matter under which packet it has come, because there was this verdict also कि वो छोटे पैक में आता है तो उसको ज़्यादा GST लगना चाहिए because it's not for edible purpose. So the Supreme Court has that also they have clearly stated that उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि वो how much the package size have, even it's 10 ml or 5 liters of can, it will be under edible oil and not under medication or cosmetics or something like that. Next news is Niti Aayog suggests housing for workers near factory site. So from reading the title itself, you will get fair idea about why it's in news. Niti Aayog, the think tank of Government of India, has decided to give some accommodation to the factory workers. Why it is in news and why they think that this should be done for the workers? Because see, when it comes to accommodation or standard of living, what as we workers see from the perspective is, do we have standard of living, or do we have near side some location to stay or something like that? So lack of accommodation are restricting people from migrating, especially when it comes to women. It is restricting from migrating from one place to another just because they don't have proper staycations. So that's why the Niti Aayog has suggested housing for workers near factory sites. And yeah, that was in the news. Then the next news is state needs to contain rationalized subsidy outgo, says RBI report. So why this is in news? The only and basic line of this news is sharp rise in expenditure of subsidies. That's the only key line from the whole news. You don't have to go for that percentage of taxation, when it was applied, when it amended the bill, even any economic news that will be in the newspaper and followed by 2 3 days, upcoming 2 3 days, there will be a lot of explanation that how before it was, like now what has happened and how much percentage it will be affected, and how much subsidy has reduced or increased or something like that, and they will give you figures which will create humongous pressure. You don't need to take pressure. There is only one line that is of important from exam perspective, that is sharp rise in expenditure subsidies. That's the only case about this news. And the next news is freight train have average speed of only 25 km per hour. So what is freight train? Freight train is nothing but first of all, the whatever the earnings of Indian Railways are, major earnings of Indian Railways come from freight trains. So what is freight train? They carry goods in instead of people. Like it's are of, they carries goods from one place to another instead of people, rather than people. So why it has failed, and what are the suggestions that committee has suggested that coverage should take place, and it should expand, and there is urgent need to speed up things by uh, updating the coverage related work. So what is coverage? It is a system, automatic train ATP system, that regulates the speed of train, and it avoids collision of two trains. At the same time, it improves operational safety. So these are the key features of coverage. So these are the news from today's newspaper. So I think that's enough for today's analysis. There was nothing much about from polity perspective and environment perspective also. Following days, upcoming 2 to 3 days will be of economic news only. So have just fair idea, as I said earlier also. And take care. Good day. Bye bye.